My name is John Kim. I'm the Vice President of Gerotech at USC. These are one of our first online workshops for this semester. It's on cybersecurity. If you were here for last semester, we actually did one of these, but this time we are presenting a little bit more information due to, popular demand. It seems to be a very topic that you guys enjoy. So we brought it again to talk a little bit more about cybersecurity. Next slide. Yeah. This is just the intro slide showing, just a little graphic for you guys. Next one. All right. So the structure of today's presentation will be first the introduction of what cybersecurity is to see exactly what type of things it encompasses, scams, trying to see what is out there in terms of malware. Two is the types of scams. Three is identifying the scams in our daily lives. Four is recovering from the scams if you've already been involved with them. And then five, we're going to have a little Q&A for you guys. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, don't feel free to, just ask in the chat and then one of our members will also answer them for you. But if you would like to talk about it a little bit more, I'll have a little section towards the end of my introduction section to talk a little bit about your experience, but also if you have a lot of big questions, please hold it till the end, please. Next slide.
Recording in progress.
Oh, yeah, next slide. Yeah. So it's our introduction. What is scamming and hacking? Next one. All right. So what is cybersecurity? In an increasingly digital world, now it's become, part of our daily lives, whether we like it or not. Scams and hackers are on the rise, especially involving with older adults and younger ones as well. Understanding these threats is often the first step to protecting ourselves as a group and as a community. So identifying it clearly will help a lot of us do a lot better within our society today. Cybersecurity as a definition is the practice of keeping computer systems and electronic data safe from cyber attacks. And cyber attacks can happen to anyone. And now you're probably asking, what is a cyber attack? Next slide. What is scamming and hacking? These are a little bit of the cyber attacks that we can define easily and kind of categorize. The first one is a scam or a dishonest scheme designed to cheat you out of your money or personal information. This could be through phone, through the internet in multiple ways. But it can go through, and we could see a lot of these things throughout society. And hacking is the next one, is when someone gains unauthorized access to data in our system or computer. Third is malware, is a malicious software that can damage, disrupt, or gain access to a computer system. All these three things can happen in many forms. With emails and phone calls, I'm sure all of you have experience of someone texting your phone number with a link saying, oh, this is your social security. We have an issue with it. Please send your passwords to all this information, your full name, like your mother's maiden name, all these things to try to get your information. There's often also as well links that people send you through emails which make you download files, unsafe things in Wi-Fi networks. And while these may seem like harmless mistakes when you do clicking are clicking them, clicking just one wrong link can lead to your personal information being exposed to the public and being exposed to the wrong type of people. And if you click on these malicious links or download a malicious file, this can lead to malware getting on your computer, and it could lead to hackers having access to your personal information. So I think within this digital day and age, it's important for us to identify scams and hacking and malware and just understand how we can avoid a lot of these problems and recover from it, even if we've, been exposed to this prior in the past, and what steps we can take to be safer in the future. Next slide. I actually wanted to ask you guys as a group if anyone wants to speak up about how, if anyone has experienced scams in the past. I know we talked about it in the last session, but it would be nice to hear someone's stories about how they experienced it and maybe how they recovered in the past. Anyone would like to speak on that? Well, I don't know if they're allowed. We set the setting to allow them to talk freely, Jenna.
Yeah, I believe because this is set up as a webinar rather than a regular
I
meeting.
see.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But the chat should be active now. If anyone could type in the chat.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyone could type in the chat maybe about your experience
Mhm.
then. DMW. I allowed you to speak with a specific button, so I think you could unmute now. Let's talk about your experience.
Hi, am I unmuted?
Yes.
Okay, I can, my name's Diane. Um, I actually have not experienced any of this. I just noticed that I didn't have a microphone.
I see. I think we're going through the process of allowing everyone to speak within the attendees now. So
I put it to the mic.
Hi, this is Karen Hackett. I'm really on to cybersecurity, but I want to share my experiences with Facebook because I post daily not only for my businesses, but also for the Half Century Trojans. And I periodically receive quote unquote messages via Facebook saying that I violated copyright formats and they're going to tear down the site immediately unless I click a certain link. And I'm savvy enough, and I've been on Facebook for so many years. I know that these are scams, but I want to put this out there for everyone that this does happen even on major platforms.
yeah, I think it's very widespread. Honestly, I think I get a phone call or maybe a text every week at least about something going wrong with my credit card, an account that's been
Right.
hacked. But there's like a weird link, and you can often tell, I think we'll talk about it in the next couple of slides, where their links are a little bit weird, or you can see that the message isn't something that an official site would ask for, like your password just out of nowhere. So I think, these are important things to understand and to know from your own experiences to see for the future and to stay safe out there. So hopefully this presentation is very useful for you guys to see into the future. So we could just go on with if you guys have any more comments, we will read them. And if there's any questions, we'll try to answer, but we can go on with the presentation now.
I've found that a usual scam has a phony email address.
Mhm.
Which you should do if something looks suspicious is
Oh
look
yeah,
for.
we will be talking about emails very shortly. If you have any more comments, we'll answer those in a bit. The first one is EBT scams. This is very, very common. I think they'll send you a phone number with a big message asking for your EBT number as well as your EBT password as a result of your account being incorrect or something going wrong. And oftentimes they'll just take all of the information out and they'll take all of the money out of the account as a whole. So it's something you have to watch out for, and it's very common. Next slide. Another is bank scams. Oftentimes, phone numbers will come out saying that posing as Bank of America, posing as Chase, asking for your account information because it was believed to have been hacked, or it was believed to have, they need a certain amount of money for you to transfer in order for it to be secure. And oftentimes, obviously, this isn't correct and this is not valid, but the messages will be a bit confusing and it's very common for this to occur. Next slide. A common theme throughout all of this is that they'll be threatening negative consequences. They'll say they're an incurring charge, perhaps by saying that there's a certain amount of money that will be lost if you don't reply, and they have inconsistencies in the email addresses, links, or domain names. Like I mentioned before, if you see in the EBT or the bank number, they don't, and you see in the link, it's not an actual link to the specific Chase or Bank of America website. There's like spelling mistakes, there's inconsistencies in the writing, oftentimes grammar errors, and they request login information, which the banks will never ask for. So that you always have to watch out for that, especially through text messages. Okay. Another thing is IRS. Yeah, we will have.
Yeah, so scammers impersonate IRS agents to demand immediate payment.
We'll play a short video for you all.
There's no sound coming through the video.
Fix the sound, maybe. Maybe it's not working.
Mm.
Jenna, there still wasn't sound on the video.
And I think you're muted.
No doubt. Can you hear the sound now?
The IRS agents calling
Yes.
Yeah.
but costing people real money. One victim in particular lost over $6,000. Authorities urgent warning this week. Criminals using phone numbers that make it appear they're calling from the IRS, telling victims they owe back taxes. We decided to give the scammers a call at a number left on a victim's voicemail. This is what they sound like. Am I in trouble with the IRS?
Yes, sir. When we found that the amount which you paid in 2011 and 12, that was not correct amount. So you owed $1,498.37 to the IRS.
The scammers want me to load nearly $1,500 onto a cash card like this, but the moment I give them this code number, all my money belongs to the scammers. When I tell them I'm not paying right away, things get hostile. The IRS estimates that threats like this have tricked more than 1,000 victims out of about $5 million.
It's bogus. The IRS needs to contact you, the taxpayer. You're going to get a letter in the mail first.
Finally, I decide to question their credentials. So you're an IRS agent, right?
This question again and again.
About that time, they hang up, which is exactly what the real IRS wants you to do. Clayton Sandell, ABC News, Denver.
Okay, was everybody able to hear the video that time? Okay, that's good. Can we go on to the next slide? Tuna, do you want to explain more?
Well, let's now watch the video on AI scam calls.
Phone scams are nothing new, but thanks to artificial intelligence, they are getting more sophisticated and more believable. Scam artists are now using AI to clone voices to trick unsuspecting victims. CBS's Carter Evans takes a look at this frightening new technology in our continuing series, The Age of AI.
Jennifer DeStefano will never forget the frantic call she got from her 15-year-old daughter, Brianna.
And she was, "Mom, these bad men have me, help me, help me, help me." And this man gets on, very aggressive, "Listen here, I have your daughter." And then that's when I went into panic mode.
The man demanded $1 million.
I said that wasn't possible. So then he came up with a $50,000.
She never paid the money and would soon learn the call was a popular AI scam. New software can recreate the voices of loved ones in distress, and scammers use that to ask for large sums of money.
This man comes on the phone. He said, "You're going to give me $5,000.
I heard our daughter on the phone. Like, it was unmistakably her.
Americans lost nearly $9 billion to fraud last year alone, up more than 150% in just 2 years.
Younger people experience fraud and fraud losses more often than older people, but it's that older adult who has so much to lose.
Cybersecurity expert Pete Nicoletti created My Voice from old news reports online. What you're about to hear is something I never said. Carter, I need your credit card number right now. I mean, that really sounded like me.
It is you. It's cloned you. It's AI Carter.
To test it out, we called my mother. Hey, I'm about to do an interview, but I have a quick question. I need you to text me your driver's license number as soon as you can. She fell for the fake voice. I feel bad.
I feel terrible
We
about
just
it.
scammed my mom. Did you just get a call from me?
For my driver's
No.
license number.
Yes, that was an AI generated voice.
Oh God, Carter, that's scary. I know the real you now.
This is the real me now.
We live in a post-real society. You can't trust the voice, you can't trust the photo, and you can't trust the video anymore.
Our voice is like a fingerprint, and that's that unique fingerprint that's being exploited and weaponized. It has to stop.
And Nora, the technology is really improving. Soon, scammers will be able to react instantly to anything you say by converting their voice into the voice of your loved one in real time.
Carter, this is scary stuff, really eye-opening. So what can people do to protect themselves?
Well, there's a couple of things you can do right away. And the first thing is to create a safe word that only your family is going to know. Secondly, you want to make your social media accounts private. Don't give that information away to potential scammers to use against you. And finally, if you get one of these calls, hang up, call them back, make sure they're really in trouble.
Carter Evans, thank you.
So, as we can see, AI scam calls have become even more scary now that they have AI generated voices and those fake calls. So, as we saw in the video, scammers are now using AI to clone voices and making the impersonation more convincing. AI powered deepfake calls mimics real people, including real family members or officials, which is why one of the tips that was given in the video is to have always a safe word with your family. So let's say I plan with my parents that the word coffee is our safe word. So when they get one of those calls, they can ask, what's the safe word? And the AI won't be able to say that. So that's a new type of scam.
Phone scams.
Okay. So, the next type of scams that we will go over is called phishing. So phishing refers to a technique that is used to gain access to sensitive data by impersonating a legitimate business or a reputable person. This is often done through fraudulent emails, messages, or websites that are designed to appear real. So we discussed a couple of them, like the EBT one could be considered phishing, and I know a couple people talked in the chat about receiving phishing messages such as the fast track or USPS package delivery. Um, yeah, so examples of businesses or reputable people or entities that are often impersonated include banks like Wells Fargo or Chase, the EBT, and even tech companies like email providers, Google, Gmail, or Netflix. So scammers will send like these kinds of emails that kind of look like they are from the actual Netflix company themselves or from Gmail themselves, but it's actually an impersonation. Also, oftentimes, if you receive an email, your email provider, like Gmail, will automatically flag it as phishing, but this isn't 100% foolproof, so we'll go over a couple ways to kind of be able to recognize and identify that a scam is a scam. So this is an example of a phishing scam from a bank. So scam emails, so these kinds of phishing scams can come through emails, text messages, or phone calls. And a lot of them have this kind of message saying, visit this website. And once you click that website, it could download a virus onto your device, which would make your personal or very private information visible to whoever is trying to hack your account. There's a phishing bank scam that we can watch a video about really quickly right now.
Couple in Golden scammed out of nearly $140,000 through a sophisticated phishing scam. The question now, can Chase Bank help them recover their money? By the time a Jefferson County man realized that the Chase Bank fraud team that he was talking to was actually the scammers themselves, he was out more than $137,000. Yeah, problem solver investigative reporter Rob Lowe spoke to the FBI. The couple scammed and Chase Bank about a fraud so clever that it could happen to any of us.
Yeah, $137,000 is a loss nobody can absorb. Chase Bank is still investigating to see if it can recover any of the funds, but that money's likely overseas. Scott and Kate Zoll want you to know what happened to them so that it doesn't happen to you.
So there were 11 wire transfers in total, 2 on our personal accounts, 9 on our business accounts. We lost close to $140,000.
How devastating was that for you, Kate?
Every day we just wake up and feel like we're living kind of a nightmare right now.
What happened to Scott and Kate Zoll began with a text to Scott's phone, supposedly from Chase Alerts, asking, did you attempt to send a wire transfer for the amount of $4,500?
At that point, before I did anything else, I reached out to my business partners and asked if they had initiated a wire. They had not. So I then called the bank branch to see if they could see any activity on my account.
That was smart. Chase Bank immediately gave him the number to its fraud department. But what happened next was his big mistake.
At that point, I acknowledged the text that came through, said, no, we did not initiate this wire. Got a text back immediately saying somebody from the Chase fraud team will be in contact with you. Probably within 30 seconds. I received a phone call from the exact number that the branch had just given me.
What Scott never guessed is the call from Chase Alerts saying a representative will be contacting you shortly was actually the scammers who had spoofed the Chase fraud number, leaving Scott to think he was talking with Chase Bank.
And at one point, I even called the Chase line because the phone number dropped, and I called the Chase fraud line. And I was frustrated with actual Chase because they couldn't see the conversations that were happening. And within a minute, you know, the people that were scamming us actually called back. And I'm like, great, these people know what they're talking about. I'm going to go back to this call.
Scott isn't sure how, but says the scammers already had his bank account number and knew how much money he had. All they needed from Scott was a one-time code that he did in fact receive via text from real Chase, only to then unwittingly share it with the scammer who was pretending to be Chase Bank. That phone call would cost him $137,130.
Just wake up and start all over again to try to accept that all our money's gone. And not hopeful at this point in the journey that we're going to see any of it again.
The most recent FBI stats show in 2022, 405 Colorado phishing victims lost nearly $500,000, and 467 spoofing victims lost $2 million.
The technology does exist that they can spoof phone numbers from anywhere in the world and make it look like it's a Chase fraud department.
Brian Blosser is a special agent with the FBI who says phishing and spoofing scams are getting more sophisticated by the day.
Okay, we'll stop the video here because it is a long one, but so this is an example of how scammers can actually pretend to be a reputable source. Here the scammer was actually pretending to be the Chase fraud alert. In these situations, oftentimes you're not going to be getting a call from the fraud alert phone number. You should be calling them first. So this is something called phone call spoofing, where a scammer will call you under the number. They'll hide their actual number, make it seem like it's a different number, which is exactly what happened here. Okay. So here is an example of a scam email. So the one on the left is a fraud email from someone who's impersonating Amazon. As you can see, the email address here is management@mazoncanada.ca. So as we could probably tell, this isn't an actual Amazon email address. They spelled Amazon wrong, and none of their Amazon email domains have Amazon Canada in them. Usually it'll be something .amazon.com. So that's something to watch out for. If we look at the email itself, it says Dear Client, so it doesn't actually address the name. Usually emails from places like Amazon or Netflix or any like companies that you might have a subscription with will say your name here. And it says, we have sent you this email because we have strong reason to believe Your account has been used by someone else. In order to prevent any fraudulent activity from occurring, we are required to open an investigation into this matter. We've locked your Amazon account and you have 36 hours to verify it, or we have the right to terminate it. To confirm your identity with us, please click the link below. Sincerely, the Amazon Associates team. So as you can see, they spelled below wrong, and the grammar itself in the message is a little off. It's not kind of the ones you would see in a regular professional email from these kinds of entities. And this link here, while it does look like it's an actual Amazon email or Amazon link, if you hover over it, the actual link points to a non-Amazon site. It says http redirect.keresked.com, which is not affiliated with Amazon. So you're able to kind of hide links and make them look like it's something else. So that's what the scammer likely did here. And then on the right is an email that I actually received. As you can see, Gmail already flagged it as a phishing email because it says that I'm allowed to report it as phishing. But if you look at the email address here, again, it's not an actual CVS email. It says keenmemo.eu, which does not have CVS in it. It says exclusive offer, dear pharmacy customer. So again, it's not personal to me. And
Wow.
yeah, it has like a lot of, it makes it very kind of engaging, makes it look like something that I would want to choose because or click on since it says it's an exclusive offer. But a lot of these emails make them seem like it's very urgent so that you are more inclined to click it or make it seem like it's very special to you. Okay. These are two other examples. The one on the left is a real email from Microsoft, and the one on the right is a fake one. Oftentimes, another very common scam is an authorization email or like a password reset or telling you that there's suspicious activity. So the one on the right is fake, as we can see the email address, the email domain is not Microsoft. The one on the left has a .microsoft.com, which means it is affiliated with Microsoft. Okay, and then another example is one from Netflix. If we look at the address, it says hi dear, which is not, again, personal to the person that is likely receiving it. Okay, and then another very common one that I've seen in the chat, I think someone mentioned it, is a delivery package scam. It often starts with a text message and email. It often indicates that the package is either in delivery or is here or has an issue with the delivery, with links for you to click on to kind of see updates about your delivery or resolve an issue revolving it. As you can see, it usually uses your name and it comes through a message, but the links are very kind of random letters and numbers. It doesn't actually, it's not an actual it's not an actual link from the actual company that's sending it to you. So there's no USPS in the link here. So this is a very high chance that it's a fake tracking number and fake tracking email. Okay, and then some reminders to avoid falling victim to a phishing scam. Always make sure to carefully examine the message before making a decision to interact with it. So that's like looking at the actual email itself, the language they use, and the email address domain that it's coming from. Don't respond to emails or pop-ups that are requesting financial or personal information. Again, a lot of these companies will not ask you for your information over email. They'll find a more secure way to do that. And don't click on links or attachments in suspicious emails because once you click this, it could cause something to download onto your device that could start tracking. And if you have any doubts, make sure to contact the organization directly. You can find their actual emails and numbers on their website. So like in the video we saw, the person called the Chase Bank, which was a good decision. Yes, Bob, I see your hand is up. Oh, okay. No worries. Okay, and then we'll go into hacking. Hacking is a different type of digital scam. So the definition of hacking is the act of exploiting weaknesses in computer systems, networks, or software to gain unauthorized access or manipulate data. So usually this involves someone somehow getting into your accounts and being able to steal your information from there. So there are three different types of hackers. So white hat hackers are the ethical hackers. These are usually people who are hired by a company or an agency to test the security. So these people will not be stealing any of your data or information, and they usually don't exploit these unless they have the permission to do so. Black hat hackers are the ones that we should be aware of. These are the ones with malicious intent. Once they find a vulnerability, unlike the white hat hackers, these people will exploit and they'll use this weakness to get access to your passwords, to your financial data, and to your personal information like your social security number. And then lastly, we have gray hat hackers, which are a blend of the two. These are not people who are personally motivated to steal information or data, but they're also not people who are hired. They usually don't have any permission to do so, and they often work individually, but not without ill intent. Regardless, though, if you are hacked, you're not going to be able to tell what kind of hacker it is. So we'll go into some details on how you can prevent yourself from being a victim to hacking. So common techniques of hacking include phishing, which we already went over, and malware, which John explained earlier, which is just stands for malicious software. And then another technique that hackers can use is called brute force attacks, which is where the person will continuously guess your password again and again and again until they're able to get in. It usually takes a lot of tries. So to make it harder for people to hack into your account using this technique, you need to use a strong password, which we'll go over later as well. Another technique is called SQL injection. This is where they actually exploit the database vulnerabilities to manipulate or steal data. So this isn't really related to your own password, but rather the database that you're logged into itself. And the last one is called man-in-the-middle attacks. So it's where someone will intercept the communication between two parties to steal or alter data. Okay, so here we'll give you some password security tips to make your passwords harder to guess and hack into. So a strong password usually should be 12 to 16 characters long, and it should be a good mix of upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters like exclamation points, percent signs, etc. And it's better to kind of mix these within the password rather than like put in a full word there and end it with a couple numbers, because those are also somewhat easier to guess. You should also avoid common passwords, as we might already know. Ones with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is like a random, it's not a very random string of numbers, or password itself. You should also try to use unique passwords for each account. I know it's very hard to kind of keep track of this if you have like a bunch of different accounts for different websites, but it's safest to not reuse your passwords across multiple accounts and platforms, because once one is compromised, that means that they would also have access to all of your other accounts. You should also remember to log out of any shared devices or public devices if there are computers at like the library, for example. Once you log into any accounts, you should always make sure to log out before you leave. And lastly, make sure to monitor for suspicious activity. Regularly check for unauthorized logins or unusual account access. Usually these will come in through emails from the actual company website that you're trying to log into. But again, those could also be scams, so make sure to watch out for those. Okay. Lastly, next we have social media and practicing cybersecurity on social media. So Stephen, would you like to explain more?
Yep, of course. Now we're going to cover cyber attacks that can happen on social media and ways that you can practice cybersecurity in various social media platforms. So social media is a great way to connect with others, but it also comes with risks. On this slide, I will explain 4 key threats that will need to be aware of and when using social media platforms. The first one is bots and fake accounts. And bots and fake accounts are often used to spread misinformations or scams. These accounts may look real, but they're typically automated or created to manipulate users. A good way to spot these accounts is by looking for generic profile pictures, vague bios, or unusual posting patterns. Second one is impersonation accounts. They are a major threat. These are fake profiles that pretending to be someone you know, or a celebrity, or even a friend. Their goal is often to gain your trust and exploit it. So always verify if an account seems suspicious. And third one is scam accounts requesting monies. Scammers usually often use emotional tactics to request money. For example, they might claim to be in trouble or hack into someone's account and asking for financial help. If you receive such requests, pause and verify before taking any actions. Lastly is the oversharing risks. Oversharing personal information on social media can make you an easy target for identity theft or fraud. So think twice before posting details like your address, vacation plans, or financial informations. And now that covered these threats, let's talk about how we can protect ourselves. The slide outlines 3 simple but effective strategies for staying safe online. First, avoid oversharing personal details like your home address, financial information, or even your travel plans. This kind of information can be misused by scammers or hackers. Second, learn how to identify bots. Look for profiles that lack personal posts, have generic pictures, or use alt phrasing in messages. If something feels off about an account interacting with you, trust your instinct and avoid engaging. Third, if someone asks you for money online, even if it's someone you know, always verify their identity through another method like a phone call or a text. Scammers often impersonate people close to you, so double checking can save you from falling victim. Now, by following these steps and stay vigilant, we can enjoy the benefits of social media while minimizing the risks.
And now I'm going to cover 3 other types of threats known as skimming, evil twin Wi-Fi, and then ad pop-ups. So to start with skimming, it is a way that thieves steal credit or debit card details without your knowledge. It can happen in ATMs, gas stations, stores, or even online when hackers insert a barcode into shopping websites. To identify skimming, always when you're inserting a card into a card reader, it's gonna look either loose, bulky, different. So you can identify those fake keypads by, shaking it a little bit, as shown in the image here on the right. You can see that it would have a little fake keypad on top of the real one. You can also have tiny cameras that are used to steal pins, and online, always avoid unfamiliar websites, especially when they don't have the HTTPS in the URL. And then to protect yourselves, how to identify it, first, wiggle your card slots before inserting your credit card. Many of those times, the fake keypad will shake, or you'll be able to detect that there's a fake one. Also, always cover your PIN while typing in order to avoid any potential cameras. So maybe just cover the keypad while typing your password. Also, consider using contactless payments. Nowadays, often if you just tap your card on top of a machine, it would work. And then lastly, as always monitor your bank statements and report any suspicious transactions immediately, so the people in the bank can help you avoid these scams. Next, we have the evil twin Wi-Fi, which is a fake wireless network set up by cyber criminals in order to steal your information. It looks like a trusted public Wi-Fi, but once you connect it, they can see everything you do online, including passwords, emails, banking details, and those are usually common in public areas, so maybe airports, cafes, hotels, and overall public spaces. In places like airports, cafes, and hotels, those are less likely. It's usually when you're in random places and there's just this one random open network, and you just need to use the Wi-Fi and you connect it. So always try to connect to known networks. So let's say you're at a coffee shop, try to connect to the network with the name of that coffee shop, or in doubt, maybe just ask someone that works in the place if this is the real network to connect. And then, sorry, next slide. How to identify it? While it looks like a trusted network, as I mentioned, it will most likely not require a password because it's going to be public. And then it also has an unstable connection. If you see an unexpected login page asking for details that are not necessarily only your name, do not connect to the Wi-Fi because it's most likely evil twin Wi-Fi. And then to stay safe, always, as I mentioned, confirm the official network name with staff, maybe use a VPN, use data. And yeah, just as long as you can avoid using public Wi-Fi's that you're not sure if they are connected to a store or to a place, do not connect to that Wi-Fi. And then lastly, we have ad pop-ups, which they are very popular, which is basically unexpected windows that appear while browsing another website. While some of them are just simply annoying, you just click the X, some of them can be dangerous and they're tricking you into clicking to fake offers or downloading malware, as we talked about. So always look for offers that are too good to be true, like how to get rich fast, or like you just want a prize, or let's say fake security alerts claiming your Wi-Fi is infected or your device is infected, or also something that's asking you to install an unknown software, or also if you're trying to close a browse and by clicking the X, it just opens more ads, that's also not safe. So in order to identify risky pop-ups, if they promise unrealistic awards, as I mentioned, fake virus alerts, or just hard to close them, do not use those. So to protect yourself, never click on those ads. First of all, you can also install an ad blocker, or you can keep your browser updated. And then if that pop-up appears, you could always close your tab using Control and the W on Windows, or or Command plus W on Mac. However, if that's too complicated, just make sure you close your browser overall. Maybe just close the Google or the Chrome, and that will help avoid those ads. Next, we have identifying scams.
Okay, so this one's gonna be an interactive activity. So we're just gonna show you a couple of screenshots of potential messages or emails that someone might have received, and if we can all actually, I think we can open a poll. You'll be seeing a poll, and once it shows up, you can hit yes or no, depending on whether you think it looks like a scam or not. Okay. So, oops.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll start with this one. Okay, the poll should be up. So if this one looks like a poll, please hit yes. Oh, it looks like a scam, please hit yes. If not, hit no. We'll give this 10 more seconds. Okay. So most people put yes, it is a scam, and one person put no. So this is a scam. As you can see,
Boy.
it has like the kind of typical signs of a scam. It's an issue where the driver can't find the address and the spelling and grammar is a little off. It's asking for your complete address at a random link. While it does say UPS tracking, we're not 100% sure that it's a safe link. So yes, this one is a scam. Okay. Can look at this one. Does this one look like it's a scam? Okay, we'll give this around 10 more seconds. So this one's pretty split. Half of the people said yes, it is a scam, and the other half said no. So this one is actually not a scam. If we look at the email, this is a correct Chase email. As we can see, the domain is something.chase.com, which means it is a Chase email. The only identifying factor is like the last four numbers, and there's no like kind of click this link or click this form, which a lot of the scam emails do. But again, the most identifying part is the fact that the email is part of an actual Chase domain. Okay. This is another one that we can do. Okay. Does this one look like a scam? We will end the poll here. So everyone said this one is a scam, which is correct. This is a scam. We can see that the grammar is a little off. The person is not kind of allowing this Matthew is not allowing the person to verify that that this person is real. They only have one kind of form of payment, and they're kind of asking for the payment before they're even met before. So there are a lot of safeguards when doing payments through this that can help you make sure that you don't get scammed by someone like this over like a chat. So yes, this one is a scam. Good job. Okay, so now we'll go over how to handle scams. Beatrice, would you like to take this?
Yes, of course. So, just a quick warning to everyone. We see your questions in the chat, but we will answer all of them in the Q&A session by the end. So don't worry. If you have any questions, you can put in the chat and we'll answer it by the end. But now on how to handle scams, we have 3 quick little tips that will probably be very helpful. So first of all, do not respond. So if you have any suspicious message that requires you to give any personal information, just simply don't respond. In the case of doubt, whether you should answer or not, whether you're considering if it's real or not, just ask someone else what they think. So if you can have anyone else, give their opinion, and then it's always helpful just to see if what other people think. You could also always contact, Chase, Amazon. They will definitely have an answer for you if that's a scam or if that's actually them asking a question. Second is simply don't click on mysterious links when they have the IP address. That seems a little weird. As Jenna was mentioning, if you have random letters, just don't click on them, especially when they ask for personal information, as we saw in the scam of what's your address. So just don't click on those links to avoid any viruses or any issues getting into your device. And then whenever you get a weird message, as we saw in the previous slides, whenever you see something that you're in doubt, simply block that number, because then you avoid to get the same scam over and over again on your phone. So yes. And now we're gonna address recovering from scams. Next slide, please. So yeah, now recovering from scams. So in the extreme unfortunate case that you do fall for an online scam, the most important thing you have to have is on hand is documentation. So documentation could include information such as bank statements, documenting the transactions, any communication with the scammers, the date, the time, websites that the scam directed you to. So if you have all those things in hands, can be very helpful. And then with this information, the authorities can help you track down any scammers and then assist with recovering any of your funds or any information you might have given to the scammers. And then even if you aren't in the unfortunate case that you're not able to retrieve money or get information back, this information is always going to be very crucial for helping others recognize and avoid the same scam. So always just make sure that you're taking either screenshots or keeping in hand what was the scam that you fell for. And now we're gonna have our Q&A section. We have a few questions that were already asked in the chat, and we would love to hear more questions that you guys have.
Okay, I see a question asking about recommendations on how or where to keep your password safe, like have a file storing your many passwords and emailing yourself. So there are actually a couple of companies that are completely dedicated to managing your password. So one of them would be called 1Password. I'll put that in the chat. So if you do a quick Google search, you'll be able to find a couple of companies with like with a good reputation for storing your password. But it is very important to note that these aren't 100% safe. Maybe like around 99.9%, because there is still a chance that these companies could also be a victim to some kind of wide company-wide cyber attack. So if you feel comfortable using a password manager, most of these are very highly secure, just not 100,000% foolproof. Another kind of way you could do that is maybe write down your passwords on a post-it, which is what I've done. This is probably the safest way because there is no digital kind of aspect to writing down your passwords on a piece of paper. Of course, it's kind of hard to keep track of little pieces of papers with your passwords. Like these are easier to lose and maybe not as easy to access wherever you are. So that's another kind of option you could have. Some people do put their passwords into a notes app on their phones. This is not as secure as well because these notes apps are not like completely encrypted, so they're easier to hack. But yeah, these are a couple of strategies that you could use to keep track of your passwords and keep them safe.
And just adding a little bit to what Jenna was saying, I would not recommend emailing yourself your passwords or just, having on chat, sending it to someone else or sending it to yourself, just because it is possible that someone hacks into your email, or let's just say instead of emailing to yourself, one letter is typed wrong and it goes to someone else. So I agree with Jenna. I think the best way is to have written down in physical paper. I know sometimes it can be tricky, but it is the safest way since there's no internet aspect to it. Let's see, another question about the two-step authentication code. So I would say about that, Jay, sorry, let me put, yeah, here right now. I would say to not click on any links that you got. It might be that someone just put your phone number by mistake. They typed into your phone number, and then because you received the code and they didn't get the code, there's no way your phone number is being linked to an account. So in my opinion, Jenna, Steven, maybe you guys can say what you guys think, but in my view, you don't have to do anything about it because it might be that your phone number was just put there into by mistake. And then if you receive their code, there's no way that they could have gotten the code as well and started an account with your phone number. So Jenna, I don't know if you have another opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree with Beatrice. That's a very highly likely possibility. But also it's important to make like sure that it could also be a scam message in itself. Because these kinds of password authentication is a very common scam. So if it doesn't pertain to you, I would just recommend you to not interact with it at all because that's just the safest way to do so. The person on the other, if there is actually a person who accidentally put in your phone number, they'll probably figure out soon enough that they use the wrong phone number and they'll be able to fix it. But yeah, I think I would recommend to just not engage with it, to be safe. But yeah. Do we have any other questions? You can ask in the chat or using the Q&A function.
Oh, I see Ben. Yeah, Ben posted a saying that always warn against having a password. Um, so I think for me personally, I'm actually very terrible with password keeping. Um, but a really good practice, I think, to have like to, I guess, store your password safe is from time to time, make sure you change your password to the new one. You don't really want to have the same password across different website and don't never change it. I personally don't change it, and Apple has actually warned me that on a couple of the sites that I'm on, my profile has compromised. Yeah, but I guess that's why I use the two-factor authentication as well, just because it's a two-step process where after you input your password, you also receive a text message on whether it's the phone number or email that you signed up on the website as. So I guess one of the good practices is just change your password regularly every 60 days or 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
okay, yeah. Actually, a
Steve,
very valid
uh,
point. That
uh,
I completely forgot to bring up, but it's, yeah, if you are going to use a piece of paper, you have to make sure that you're going to keep it somewhere safe, very safe, that most people don't have access to. And yes, don't try not to keep it near your computer, of course, because that would make it very easy for anyone using your computer to get into whatever websites. So if you are going to put it on a piece of paper, put it in somewhere that's like very safe and not very accessible, and definitely don't write it on a post-it and keep that posted on your computer. But yes, I put a couple of good password managers as well in the chat. 1Password and Bitwarden are some of the very common and well-known ones. So if that's something you're interested in, you could check those out as well. Does anyone have any other questions or anything that they would like to share?
Can you hear me, Jenna?
I'd like to share something. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Just to be aware with everybody, it's a credit card. I lost my credit card at home. I don't know where I place it. So I know it is at home. So I did not use it. And so I called the bank after 3 months. I called the bank. I said, I lost my credit card at home. And I know it's not been stolen because every day I'm checking and there are no transactions. Can you please send me a replacement card with the same number? That's what I said, with the same number, and use the same information. And then I confirm, I took the name of the staff. So the staff said, okay, we'll send you the card with the same number. So I was waiting. It said 7 to 10 days. Past 10 days, I haven't received. I checked my state online. I saw some transactions and I called the bank. I said, I haven't received my card, but there are already transactions. How could this be? I think I need an investigation. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be malicious here, but I think this is an inside fraud. That's what I said, because how could somebody use my card and I haven't, sent it? So they said, oh, we're sorry, we'll send you another card. So we will cancel this new one. Yes, but I want that person, whoever used that card, to be investigated. So I waited. They sent me a new card. So what I did when I received the card, I activated and locked it. After 2 days, I saw again another charge on the card. So I told the bank, hey, bank, what is this? My card is locked. Why is it still there? Why still I'm having some charges? And you know what they told me? We cannot deny the payment because it's a membership. Huh? I said no. You have to reverse the charge because I did not receive the card. So they canceled again the card and they gave me a new card. So from then on, I locked the card, and have not been using that card in that bank. So I just wanted everyone to share this experience with everybody. Be careful, even I'm sorry with the bank stuff, That's it.
Christy,
I'm so
thank
sorry.
you so Yeah, sorry. Go, Jenna.
Oh yeah, no, I just wanted to say I'm so sorry to hear that you had so much difficulty with kind of managing that. But thank you for sharing. There are a lot of like different discrepancies in different cases, so. Um, okay, yes, and DMW said in the chat, you should contact the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Yes, maybe they could help you there.
Um, if anyone has anything else to share, you can put it in the comments or the questions. If you don't, thank you so much for coming today. You can start leaving the Zoom if you don't have anything else. If you do, we're gonna stay here for a few more minutes, so please share and ask any questions you guys have.
Yes, also wanted to remind
Itu
everyone
barang sedang kan ya?
we're
Karena
going to
pemikiran
be
orang
having
macam-macam.
next. We're gonna be having our next tech workshop next month. It'll be March 29th from 2 to 3 p.m. on Zoom. And this one is going to be about healthcare and technology and how we can kind of navigate that. So that will be March 29th from 2 to 3 p.m. Okay, thank you everyone so much for your engagement and for your participation.